Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eternal Midnight. I am Santino here with Chad. What's going on, dude?
Oh, another night, another episode. What are we talking?
So we're talking. We're gonna go visit our fellow neighbor Totoro, and then later we'll fly in the castle in the sky. So that's right. We're continuing Studio Ghibli month with My Neighbor Totoro and Castle in the Sky. So, Chad, what did you think of My Neighbor Totoro?
It was okay.
Yeah, it is one of your films where you're not really like so hot on R&B.
I mean, I don't even want to say I was like extremely like massively hyped up for this. Like I didn't like build myself up like, oh my God, this could be the best one of all. I just went into it with, all right, this is the one with the big gray
Bunny.
bear rabbit looking thing. Let's see what it's got. And then it was just
It's just very it's just very it's very shallow, isn't it? It's like
yeah, I mean it was just like yeah, there is the stuff with the sisters, which was interesting, but it's like
yeah.
I don't know how to describe it other than it's like I just was like left underwhelmed. Like
Yeah,
he is like Totoro is like, like the logo of Studio Ghibli, but it was just like I kind of thought like, how Pikachu is like the mascot of Pokemon?
right.
Like I kind of thought Totoro himself was gonna be a little more interesting than. Okay, I'll put it this way: I thought he was gonna talk, and he doesn't. He just roars.
Yeah, it's basically, well, you have to understand where this is coming from. Basically, this is like how do I put this? This is a very kids film. This is a movie for babies.
This is the kiddiest of all of them so far, even kiddier than Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah, because well, here's the thing. It's like, that's the reason why Totoro is on the logo. It's because that, so everyone can recognize him. Everyone can recognize him. Even the babies can recognize him. So like, it's a very short. This is the shortest Studio Ghibli film by Hayao Miyazaki. Because there are short films than this one, but like, this is the shortest film by Hayao Miyazaki, and it doesn't even clock in at an hour 30. It's an hour 25. Like for that perspective, Let There Be Carnage is, from what I heard, longer than Totoro.
Wow.
Yeah. So like,
it's
basically a simple plot. It's like the girls move into a new house, they make a new friend from Totoro, and they go on a few adventures with him. Like he helps them plant trees. He waits with them in the bus, and at the climax of the film is the sisters fight, and the oldest sister May asks Totoro to help find May.
Yeah, that's the movie.
Yeah, that's the movie.
And it's like
it's very cheesy, and like it's very cheesy. Like the mom comes back from being sick, and they're like, "Oh, Totoro," and that's how it ends.
It's weird because it's like, again, I this isn't in a like, I was building up and I'm like angry it wasn't what I thought, but it's like I hear the name My Neighbor Totoro and I kind of was expecting like this to be one of those like weird fantastical worlds where like humans and creatures coexist with each other or something, and like he was like an actual neighbor, like he lived in a house next to them or something, and they went on adventures with him or something. But I mean,
yeah, not what was expected, was it? It's basically
no.
Like, yeah, I mean, like,
it's again not bad. It's just
not a bad film, but it's just not.
When I've watched, The Wind Rises, and then this, it's like,
yeah,
maybe you should have had this in the beginning instead of The Wind Rises.
Maybe I should have, honestly. Like, I should have put Kiki's Delivery Service and My Neighbor Totoro in like the same month, same day. So
that would have been an interesting episode. Because that would have been the one where I'd be like, dude, if this is what you're getting me prepared for, I don't know if I want to continue this month. And you'd have been like, no, we're only going up. Don't worry. Yeah, no, it wasn't bad. I wouldn't call this a bad film. This is one where I can see it being iconic. for the age group that saw it, because I mean, this came out in Japan this came out in 1988. So I mean, a generations of kids have grown up with this, and I didn't. So it just,
Yeah, and
for
Totoro
being
is
a
famous.
children's movie, it's not something that's going to like resonate or stick with me. Like the Totoro being an icon will always stick with me, but this
Yeah,
movie itself is not.
yeah, exactly. It's more of like, and Totoro is really famous. Like there's like plush toys of him everywhere in Japan. And it's like one of
Oh, you kidding me? They designed him that way for a reason.
yeah, they just they,
They designed him because he would sell. Why do you think he had the little ghost and the little mini Totoro running around?
I know, right? So like we
More
can,
plush toys, because they didn't even really do anything except make May follow them into the woods where she found him.
yeah, and honestly, but like my favorite character in this entire movie is that cat bus. Like was
That's
the
what
director,
Bill said.
yeah, was the director like high when he wrote when he when
See, and I thought I'd seen something like that before. So again, that's why I was thinking this was going to be like a movie with like a fantastical adventure because of something like that. But then it just kind of existed because it existed. So it's like, what?
yeah, this is a very like shallow. Okay, shallow is wrong. It's a very like
Simple.
it's a very there you go. Thank you, Chad. It's a very simple film. Like the climax of this movie is May gets lost. They find her on the with the cat bus. They take her to the mom to visit to see if she's okay,
And give her
and
corn.
then they go home.
Yeah. And that's the movie. And it's like, again, nothing wrong with it. I can understand. See, this is the type of movie I look at, and it's like my sister and my two nieces, who are both very young children, they'd love this.
Yeah.
But it's weird because it's like Ponyo was also a very child-friendly film, but that one,
But the thing is, the reason why Ponyo was good, was better, was because
oh wow, the reason why Ponyo was the good one.
no, okay, sorry, no, sorry. The reason why Ponyo was sorry, my bad. The reason why Ponyo was more interesting than Totoro is because that Ponyo had that underwater mythology going on. You know, it had a lot of like
Mhm.
sea creatures and like like the goddess of the sea with this man who was a man before, but now he's a sea creature. It's like it's one of those, dude.
Mhm.
It's like that's why Pony was interesting. The thing is here, it's like, oh, there's Totoro, there's a cat bus, there's mini Totoros, and they're never explained after that. Like they're just there, and like,
Yeah, they just
okay,
exist. They just like the dad said, they just live in like a magical part of the woods that only shows itself when it wants to.
yeah. I mean, like Totoro is this god of the forest, right? And like, okay, what happens then?
Yeah, it's like, but all he does is sleep and grunt his name and play his little instrument at nighttime.
Right, exactly. And I mean, like that's fine. I mean, like this movie will entertain the 3-year-olds.
Yeah,
It's
that's what it was supposed to do. It's
yeah,
supposed to be something that the parents can put on for a very young child. They can see Totoro and go, Totoro looks cool. Oh, he's friends with the two little girls. And oh, the cat bus. And the parents can like rest assured knowing there's not anything in it that's like weird or corruptible towards children.
right, exactly. It's a very simple film for kids, and that's fine. You know, there
Yeah.
are films really like there are films really like that.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I'm not saying it's bad at all. It's just this is like so far of the 5 I've watched, it's just the weakest. It's just
Yeah,
the
I
least. It's the
understand.
one that's just like the least for me right now. I mean, if I have kids one day, I'll show them this because I've seen it and I know that they'd love it. But until then, this is probably out of all of them the one I don't see myself returning to voluntarily anytime soon.
Wow, even you do you see yourself returning to like Kiki?
Oh yeah, I'd watch Kiki before I watch this again. Because
Again,
I mean, no
again,
offense, but
listeners,
dude,
it's not
Kiki at
bad.
least had
Okay?
an but Kiki at least had an arc. Like
Yeah,
her
yeah.
character had an arc. These kids, again, nothing wrong with it. These kids are like 12 and 4. I don't expect them to have an arc.
Yeah, exactly.
Kiki was the main character who went on an adventure about growth and maturing. So it's like she did have to have an arc. I think it was handled a little. I think it could have been handled maybe a little more if the character had been like maybe like 16 or 17. But for what they did, at least she had an arc that I could follow and see this character's growth and change as the movie went on. Here,
It's like it's just
they
very,
just the
it's just
sisters
very,
just had a quick spat with each other,
yeah.
and then they kind of did something I don't like seeing in movies, where it's like characters are completely fine and happy with each other. They argue for 30 seconds and then make up and act like, I can't believe we ever fought. It's like, well, yeah, because you didn't really fight.
Yeah, you just like argue with.
Like, sorry, I mean, Satsuki like screamed at her 4-year-old sister for being sad that the mom wasn't coming home. It's kind of like there's no real growth or change to come from that, because the rest of the movie, Satsuki was taking such good care of Mei. I mean, I'm sorry, that takes a strong personality to voluntarily tell your younger sister, climb on my back, I'll hold the umbrella up while we wait for our father at the bus stop. Like, she could have just been like, lay down in the mud or something, but no, she stood there and she carried her. So it's like they were great sisters to each other. They didn't have any problems that was like building up towards Satsuki finally like breaking from being the older sister. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And again, like, I mean, like, we really want to talk about this more, but there's not much to say. I mean, like, do you have anything else to say, Chad, about Totoro?
I like the character of the old woman who kind of like watched out for him, and
Yeah, that was cool.
that was
cool.
interesting. She was a really nice character, I thought. So this was one that HBO Max had in English, so I was listening to Dakota and Elle Fanning the whole time. Which, you know what, I actually like both of them. I have no issues with either of the Fanning sisters.
Yeah, I do also.
Like, I guarantee, I don't know how many other people actually like this movie, but you know, I actually thought Elle Fanning was pretty good as Aurora in Maleficent. Did you ever see that or no?
Yeah, that was okay. I mean, like,
I've seen, hey, there's way worse Disney remakes out there.
yeah, that was way worse.
But yeah, other than that, like I said, you know what, I will agree with you on that one. For me personally, I don't see myself watching this again anytime soon, but as a good film that you can just put on for like young children and know there ain't gonna be nothing weird or messed up in here that they shouldn't be seeing. This is the perfect film for like 4 or 5-year-olds. They'll love it. Same with Ponyo. Same age. This was made for the same age as Ponyo fan people, but it's just, like I said, Ponyo just did something more for me than this did.
Yeah, Ponyo. The point is, Ponyo had a lot more going on. You know, because like again, like I said, you know, Ponyo dabbles with, you know, creatures, the goddess of the sea. While Totoro was just like, okay, hi Totoro, like join us. Yeah, it was just fun. You know, for little kids, that's okay. I mean, like I told you, like off air, Chad, like they put Totoro for all ages in Netflix. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? Tell everyone what your ranking system is on your Netflix for these movies. So they tell them how you explained it to me.
So on Netflix, like there's Netflix
Filipino Netflix.
On Filipino Netflix, there's like Netflix there's Netflix for, you know, the regular people, the regular folk, and there's Netflix Kids. You know, the Netflix Kids is like they shove out anything that's above 15 plus. So it's just like all the, like, you know, all like the gory anime or all of like the serious shows like Breaking Bad, they're not on there. They're just really for kids. And the only Ghibli films that are on there, I mean, no, all the Ghibli films are on there, but they all have like their ages. So like Spirited Away is 12 plus, and I think Nausicaa was 10 plus. Kiki's Delivery Kiki's Delivery Service was 7+. Totoro was all ages. Like, this is for all. You know what that means? It has no harm. There's nothing wrong with this movie. Like, it's like, it's that I found the perfect word. Totoro is the most innocent Studio Ghibli film. That's the best way we can describe it.
It's the safest movie for any living person on the planet.
Yup. It's the safest movie for any living person on the planet.
But it was still fun. It was still fun, just like we said. There's just far better.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what, Santino? What is far better than My Neighbor Totoro?
I've been wanting to talk about Castle in the Sky like forever.
Oh my god, dude!
When you watched it, when I watched this, like, you will love Castle in the Sky. I just bet my money on it, and you did, right? I'm sure you did.
Oh, as of now, it's my favorite one of the 5 I've watched.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like you said, like nothing will beat The Wind Rises, and then something beat The Wind Rises.
Well, Wind Rises and Castle in the Sky are two completely different genres. Yeah. That's like saying I didn't think anything could beat Logan, and then you watch The Godfather. It's like, yeah, but a crime drama versus like the tragic end of an incredibly like awesome superhero. It's like they're both incredible in their own ways. And Castle in the Sky is one of those, like, I'm like you. I love fantasy stuff. I love it. And it's like, this is the type of fantasy I love. A magical rock, a princess who doesn't, who's like in hiding basically on the run. A giant
robot that causes destruction. We'll talk about that later. But like basically.
Yeah, a giant robot. I literally like the title, a giant floating castle world in the sky, a mystery. Just, this movie had everything I love about fantasy films. And I told
you, this is basically Hayao Miyazaki's take on a pirate treasure hunt film with its own magical spin to it.
Which is amazing because this is better than any pirate film I've ever seen.
Wow, even better than Curse of the Black Pearl? You think this is better than Curse of the Black
Pearl? Hell yeah, this is better than Curse of the Black Pearl.
I remember telling you off air, like, I think you'll find Castle of the Sky better than every Pirates of the Caribbean film except for Curse of the Black Pearl. And then, like,
Black Pearl's fun, but Black Pearl doesn't have a castle in the sky.
Oh.
And it also doesn't have the Joker.
Yeah,
because I got to watch this in English, and Mark Hamill is the voice of the villain. Yeah. And he does the Joker laugh so many times. It's amazing.
So let's get into it. So basically, what do you think of Castle in the Sky? Like, what do you love most about it? The mythology, the characters. Like, what do you like about it, Chad?
This is one of those movies where what I love most about it is, obviously, aside from the lore that it establishes and builds on its own, what I love is when a movie, so there's some movies that come out, like, let's take something like, let's just take the one we just talked about, My Neighbor Totoro. In my brain, I'm not really thinking, what's the lore of this world? What more is there? I'm just like, that's just what it is. There's this thing, it lives in the woods, no big deal. But when I watch something like even something like Ponyo, I kind of wonder what else is going on in this magical ocean. What else is there? But when I watch something like this, it's like, okay, what else is there? How did this castle get in the sky? How did that ancient civilization have the ability to build this place? What happened? What made them decide? Like, I know the reason they left is, mankind was meant to live on the plant, like Earth, instead of the sky. But what pushed them to suddenly realize that? Was it like some big disaster happened? This movie's mythology with one movie opens up more questions and possibility for future stuff that, it's never happening. This came out in 86. Unless there's like a manga or an anime, I don't think we're ever going to get answers, which is fine because my brain allows me to come up with my own ideas and explore them myself.
I think I'm so glad you said it. I think that's the magic of Castle in the Sky. I think that's the magic of Hayao Miyazaki in general. Because in a world with so many sequels and spin-offs, it's nice
watching something that doesn't, where I can fill in the blanks and make up my own sequels.
It's nice to have a mystery. It's like, it's nice to have a mystery. So like it's what I can't believe I'm saying this, but like it's like what Vito from the if you guys watch channel Vito, it's what he said about Solo. It's like the whole point, the reason why the Han Solo spin-off was pointless is because we didn't need to know unnecessary things about where Han Solo got his name, where he got his blaster, how did he get the Falcon, where he met Chewbacca. It added to not knowing those things added to like the imagination and brevity of the Star Wars world. It's the same here. Like I'm so glad that Hayao Miyazaki never made a sequel to this, or a prequel, or a spin-off, because now it really is a mystery, and we can all think and wonder and speculate about what exactly happened there. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's again the magic of this film. I mean, like, I love fantasy films. I really do. Like, one of my favorite fantasy films of all time is like The Dark Crystal. And it's like, I've said it before and I'm just going to say it here. You need to watch that at some point. And I know you can't find it on your Netflix. And I get that, but it's just more of like the repetition of like, you need to, because I can't wait for you to see it. But it's like, I love fantasy like that, where it's like, it's this world where it's like, there's so much more to it than what we're actually seeing.
Like, I was hooked the minute like the opening air raid happened with the pirates, and then like Sheeta and Pazu meet, and like as she's falling, the pendant glows and it saves her. And like
and then the opening credits are playing as she's falling down.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh.
And then like and I love and I told you, like, Ghibli loves flying, he loves planes. And again, here there's flying, there's planes, there's a lot I love the unique aircraft designs, like the pirates all live in like this one ship, and it's all like, you can tell, like, and you see a lot of this, like Ghibli, Hayao Miyazaki does like a lot of expectation subversion, like especially with villains, when you really like get down to it. So just treasure hunters, like they haven't killed anyone, like I think, and no one dies in Castle in the Sky, like no one really gets like except for Mosca. Like,
no, the entire military got killed. Mosca killed them all.
That's right. Yeah.
He opened up the bottom, and they just all fell to their doom from miles up in the air.
That's right. The robot massacre. Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, and the robot massacre. He destroyed the Goliath. Don't forget, that was filled with men.
You're right. My bad.
There was a lot of death in this movie.
No, man. I meant like in the sense of the pirates.
Like nobody got like a bullet in their head. I know what you mean.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like
I don't know. That robot was pretty savage in the way he was. Dude, that scene, he just like that thing was a weapon of mass destruction.
Wasn't that awesome? That animation and how the robot just like massacre. Like
there's something about animated fire. Some animation studios make animated fire just like really lame. Others make animated fire look absolutely incredible, and this movie is one of the ones that makes it look amazing.
I know, right? Exactly. And the thing is, like, is so like what I really love about this movie. I love the relationship between Pazu and Sheeta. Like, they're really best friends, and Pazu like has his own connection with the Castle in the Sky because his father saw it. Like he took a picture, so it's like. And I really want to know, like, is this real? Like, what if it's fake? Like I went into this not knowing anything about, the castle.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what if Muska's wrong? What if there is no actual? What if this is one of those like, we've been duped, it doesn't actually exist type things? I was like, that would be. I mean, I kind of would have been like, oh, so now what? But I'm sure Miyazaki would have come up with something really interesting. But it's like, what if?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm so glad. I love that shot of like they detach from like their little plane, like they detach from the main pirate ship, and then they fly inside the vortex, and then like it just all stops, and you see the castle, and it's like, wow! It's like the first time. That first shot is amazing. It's like, that is amazing, and I'm so glad. Like, and I'm so glad that I'm so glad that this was like a great fantasy film for that. And even though it really bombed in the box office.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, because the budget the budget was $500 million. Oh wait, no, it didn't bomb in the box office, but because like
it made
So
So
my bad, 500 million yen. So
I
then,
was gonna say, yeah, it cost 3.3 million. Box office was 15. So no, it made it made a good amount of money for
yeah,
3.3 million. 15. I mean, it didn't make like it didn't make it so everyone could suddenly just like retire. But I mean, it more than doubled its budget and marketing costs.
yeah, exactly. So, um, so like, I like the fact that basically like, this mythology is great. You know, it's like it reminded me of that anime I watched, Cowboy Bebop, where like they explain that humanity took to the stars and like conquered the solar system, but like they don't exactly explain how. They just like it's left off as a mystery, which is really cool. So it's like you can imagine and you can wonder, right? And that's what like good films do. They make you wonder. Like, and I'm not saying like don't explain everything, because like I'm not saying like don't explain anything at all, because that is plot holes. But like,
Well, it's almost like here's a good way to explain it: the Star Wars prequels versus what you already said, Solo. If we were, let's just say they decided they were going to make a prequel to this, set it hundreds of years in the past, where was this an ancient civilization of man that defected from everyone who was left on the surface or something? Like, there's a story way back when that would be more world building that they could do. But I don't need, something like Sheeta's life as a little girl and her parents running from, Muska or something. That would be redundant and pointless.
yeah, but there's a
So it's
story.
like
I
you could
wonder,
go really far back if you wanted.
yeah, I honestly like if there's ever a sequel or a spin-off for this, I honestly want to see what this castle was like in its prime. Like, what was it
Mhm.
like? What were the vendors and all that?
Yeah, because it's like they get there and it's abandoned and dead, aside from one robot who tends the garden. That's it. Otherwise, it's just been floating there for eons
Right,
with nothing happening.
right.
But you still wonder, how did the one robot fall?
Yeah, exactly. Right. How did it fall? Like, was there
It's
a
like
war?
there's got to be a story there. Something made it fall. It didn't just fall on its own.
Right, exactly. Like, were there other people there before? That's the question.
Exactly. There's a mystery behind why the one robot fell down, and why it was able to recognize Sheeta
Yeah,
and want to
exactly.
protect her.
Honestly, yeah, that's very true.
See, that's what I love about this is it creates it's
Question.
something that
Yeah.
doesn't need to be answered. I can answer it and ponder that question in my own mind better than I'm sure some American studio would come up with some bland BS answer.
Right, exactly.
And like we said, if a sequel in any way, shape, or form never happens,
That's fine.
I'd like something to happen because I think he could come up with something. But if it doesn't, no big deal. I don't need more.
Right, exactly. Ah, I love this movie. I love it so much, honestly.
I do too. And I think I was telling you, there's like a local theater that's kicking off Studio Ghibli month, which is like perfect timing because this weekend they're playing
Spirited
shoot, which
Away.
one did I tell you? Yeah, they're
Spirit.
playing Spirited Away, and it's like that one's like near the end of the month, and I'm trying to watch these in order, and you're just like, don't worry about that, just go see it.
Yeah, just go see it. Because Spirited Away is the magnum opus of not only Hayao Miyazaki but Studio Ghibli in general.
Nice. That's what everyone says. So
Yeah,
it's
it really
like, I
is.
mean, like I said, it's supposed to rain on Sunday, so I probably will go see it because
Nice.
when else am I going to get the chance?
Ghibli.
Whenever I see a theater advertising that they're playing like old movies or like, okay, not current releases, I always want to try and go see them because it's like this may never come back.
Yeah, Ghibli on Sunday
On the
afternoon
big
or rainy,
screen.
sunny afternoon, perfect. No other like mood can be there for that except that. So
Eh,
going further, so like do you let's talk about it a little bit more. Do you like the characters of Castle in the Sky? Do you like Shida and Pazu? Like you never really talk about them. Like
Yeah, Sheeta was, I mean, again, this chick was not a damsel in distress. She
yeah,
was able to, she physically, I mean, physically she wasn't strong, but I mean, this was a very brave little girl. I'm going to be dead serious. I don't think I would have had the balls to climb outside of a giant airship, who knows how many miles above the sky, and hang on to the side of it. I mean, she's braver than I am.
I agree.
And Pazu, props to him. He got shot.
Yeah.
And he still trudged on.
Dude, yeah.
He doesn't know what happened to the friends that he had back in his village. They could have all been, the last he saw was the military storming the village. They could have all been killed for all he knew.
Yeah, but like,
But he still trudged on.
But like, here's the thing, like, I like Pazu's arc also. That like, he just wanted to see if his dad was right. You know, it's like and he didn't care about the treasure. Honestly, he didn't care about like the weapon. He just wanted to see if his dad was right about things. Just cool, honestly.
Yeah, and then he had his moment where and you know, it's like the movie kind of tried to frame it as like his one moment where like he kind of fell from grace and took the money and left. But it's like, what else was he supposed to do?
Right.
No, Musca, I'm going to stay and fight. Okay, we'll leave you in this cell then. It's like, no, leave, get your freedom out of the prison, and then go back and try and save Sheeta.
Yeah, exactly.
I would give it, the pirates and the pirate family was awesome.
Yeah, it was so awesome, right? They were hilarious. Like, you thought they were bad, but they were actually like an okay family.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They were an okay family.
Like, even though it was kind of creepy, like, even though it was kind of creepy that they were courting Sheeta, it was like, well, it's like, really? I mean, like, he's a kid, guys. Come on. I mean, like, there's limits here.
Yeah. And so this one again was an English dub. You know who voiced Sheeta in the English dub, right?
No, who did?
Anna Paquin or Paquin, however you pronounce it.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah, Rogue was the voice.
That's awesome.
That's like 3 things we've seen her in this year: X-Men, Trick or Treat, and now Castle in the Sky. No, definitely 2 good leads. I mean, they did a good job. It was like we said, a princess who is not a damsel in distress, and a boy who fought for what he believed in and just wanted to just help and save his friends.
Exactly. And then let's discuss the ending. So the ending leaves off with Sheeta destroying the castle.
Well, before we talk the ending, we gotta talk the villain.
Oh yeah, Musca. Musca was fun. He was a fun, like, he's like, a lot of Ghibli films have like 3 dimension towards the villains. Musca's the only one that's like very, very 2D. He's very simple villain. He wants to take over the world. It's like, okay.
Well, he is, but don't forget, it's because he's a descendant of
the people
who came from the castle also. So it's like he's got power, but he wants, you know, he's maniacal. He has power as a colonel, but he wants more, and he could have had the power to destroy the world. And you know, Pazu and Sheeta stopped him.
Yeah.
And like I said, for the US version, Mark Hamill was the voice, and it's always great hearing him do voiceover work.
Voice, yeah.
And yes, he did do the Joker laugh many times, and it was awesome because everyone loves hearing the Joker laugh.
Mark Hamill has an iconic Joker laugh.
Yeah, he does. Luke Skywalker and the Joker.
So, I mean, like,
the end.
Okay, so Sheeta destroys the castle and it floats up and leaves us with an opening ending. So I'll ask you 2 questions. Number 1, do you think it was right for Sheeta to destroy the castle? Destroy all that history? Chad, do you think?
I understand the sacrifice. Why? Because there's no other way with just these 2. They had no backup. Physically, they could not take on Musca. So it was like they didn't really have a choice, I guess. I mean, maybe they could have tried some of the other spells that Sheeta knew. But when you're kind of in the heat of the moment, like, we need to get this done now or he'll destroy the planet, like, we have to do something. But at the same time, it's kind of poetic. The Sheeta and her and Sheeta and Muska's ancestors left the castle for a reason.
Right.
And Sheeta was like, Sheeta and Pazu kind of just were like, they took it upon themselves to make the decision. This doesn't need to be here anymore. There's no reason for this castle to be here anymore. And after the destruction of it, you saw it. It was, it was a floating tree with the crystal and just a few buildings left now in orbit over the planet.
Right,
So
exactly.
that's what leaves it open, like I was saying earlier about the mythology and leaving it open for more. And if Miyazaki's not going to do more with it, that allows us to come up with sequels and what's going on next in our own minds.
Yeah. So exactly. So before I get to the second question, in my opinion, I agree that I think it's poetic. I agree that Sheeta destroyed the castle, like finished what her descendants started because they said like, it's too powerful and humanity was never meant to evolve this fast. So we're gonna leave it, and it's fitting. But
and they also saw too that people there, Muska was not the only man on Earth who would try what he did. So they were like, this is going to happen again, and they might not be able to be stopped next time.
Right, exactly. So that leads me to question two. In your own mind, Chad, in your own like head canon, what do you think happened to the castle in the sky after that?
I think it went further up into space, and it's just going to remain there.
And like, and what do you think happened with Sheeta and Pazu and all the other pirates?
They all said goodbye, but don't forget Pazu said to Sheeta earlier, in the movie, he's like, I want to go back to where you grew up, because she said she loved it there. So it's like, to me, that's where they headed off to. Like, Pazu was an orphan. He basically lived with his boss. So it's like, he wasn't really saying goodbye to anything by not going back to his original town.
Right.
So I'd like to think the two of them went back to where she was before she got abducted by the military, and they're just going to start a life together, potentially, almost like what happened in Ponyo. They're two kids. They'll grow up together, and if a relationship is meant to happen, it will. And these two are older than the kids in Ponyo were, so it's like, they had chemistry with each other. They obviously cared about each other. So I'd like to think these two wound up together and started a family.
Like my headcanon is like they got married and the pirates attended the marriage. Like they were there as guests, and like this is like their own little secret. And then my headcanon for my own headcanon is the castle in the sky became a bedtime story for Sheeta and Pazu's kids, and one night like as technology evolves, like there's already telescopes. One night, they look into the sky and they see it, and then, hey, so it's real, it's real.
And maybe someday somebody else will explore it, but maybe not. Maybe now that the castle part is gone, it's got new defenses up or something. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
We don't know, because that's the thing when it comes to like magical items like the crystal in the middle of the tree. We don't know what it's capable of or what it wants.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to think also that as robot is still tending the garden wherever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
I hope he's still alive. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just hanging out with his birds, remember?
Yeah, exactly. And don't worry, Chad. Like as we move forward, as the weeks go on with Ghibli month, there's not gonna be any more like kiddie films like Kiki's or Totoro. This is gonna be like straight up like all fantasy from now on.
Okay, good.
So and that's it. So that wraps up this week. Next week we'll be talking. We'll be flying the Mediterranean sky with Porco Rosso, and we'll be going into the post-apocalyptic world of Nausicaa. And then
I'm really pumped for that one.
And furtherwards, we're gonna deal with the trilogy not really a trilogy, but like the three most famous Studio Ghibli Hayao Miyazaki films: Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, and Spirited Away. So I can't wait to talk about them, and guys, and see you soon. Bye, guys.
See ya.